Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Behind the Boardroom, a podcast series from Botree Software. This is a series where we will be talking about companies and their digital transformation journeys. In this episode, I am going to be talking to Aritra, who is the digital technologies business partner of Royal Canin India. He has played a pivotal role in foreheading several digital technology transformation journeys for Royal Canin India and running all their transformation programs. We'll be talking a lot about upcoming technologies, the role the technologies will play in shaping the future of sales and other functions of the company, plus what is up ahead the curve for pet industry. Hi Aritra, good morning. We have known each other for like 3 years now, right? And I think we have sent and received thousands of emails, did several video calls, right? In the age of digital technology, we have been digital buddies only. So it's really nice to finally meet you, have this podcast, do this meeting. So I really cherish this opportunity. Thanks for your time. Very welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Firstly, I'm very glad to be here. Thanks, Murthy, for having me in this podcast series. So, really looking forward.
Great. So I think, let us start from the start, right? In your journey with Royal Canin India, right? In your experience running digital technologies for Royal Canin India, right? What are the various projects that you have done? And, where do you see this going, right? What is the path, the curve that you would like to take?
Okay. So, first, let me tell you that how exactly Royal Canin India has evolved over a period of time, right? So we had seen a massive growth, or rather a technological advancement in past few years, and Royal Canin India has actually grown in leaps and bounds. So when I look back towards the last few years of journey that we had, so I have only 2 cents over there, that we need to look upon particular category in two facets: A, what we are consuming today as in the technology, and B, what we are delivering today as in the hyper personalized experience for the consumers who are starting their pet parenting journey with their cats and dogs. Now today digital technologies stands at this juncture very strongly, where we are helping the business to make technological advancements on a day-to-day basis, uh, incrementally making a 1% progress every single day, which would actually strengthen their overall technological posture going forward. Now, in Royal Canin, we have also leveraged AI, and we have recently launched a completely AI-driven, one hyper-personalized bot for the consumers, which helps them understand the right proportion of the meal that they need to feed and what exactly the cost per meal, basically.
Like recommendations and
It's a recommendation model based on depending on the kind of the breed that you have, the age of the breed, the activity level of the breed, and based on certain algorithms, it basically suggests you or recommends you the exact quantity of the food that you need to feed to them and what is the cost that entails with that particular feed. So that is why it's called a cost per feed app. It is purely a meta platform based application being built. Secondly, we also have a fully automated complaint resolution management tool, which has been rolled out on Power Apps, and which has intensely, boosted my customer satisfaction. So these are some of the advancements that we have made so far. As a matter of fact, the distribution management system, right, had actually changed the way that we are doing business today vis-a-vis how we have been doing business earlier as well. So that is how exactly the Royal Canin's posture is in terms of the technological advancement over the past few years.
I think you are well ahead in the technology curve in some respects, right? The reason I say that is because when we started engaging at first, right, when you normally think about a pet food company and the technology that would surround it, you don't really think about too many things, right? But when we started engaging with you, right, the type of questions that we had to answer and the type of questions that were being thrown at us from all sorts of technology angles, right? They were pretty at a very high standard, right? So that is when I realized it is not just a pet food company. For another technologist, it's a technology company as well, right? So you need to match all these things. Only then it's going to work, right? So is there a is that something happened as a planned one? Because does Royal Canin India make a specific effort to keep ahead of the technology curve, or it is a means to an end?
So thanks for this question, first of all, Murthy. The answer lies in the question itself. So Royal Canin definitely thinks ahead of the curve, right? So we have a tagline, right, that the world that you want tomorrow starts today. So that's the motto that Royal Canin lives with. So when we delved at the very initial days in bringing in the distributor management system with Botree, so we had a very well-defined prerequisites in place, right? And technological posture is something which defines that how exactly my organization is going to perform down the line. So there are a lot there are a lot of thoughts actually which goes into strengthening my vendor onboarding, which goes into strengthening the data privacy impact assessment. There are certain enterprise architecture level assessment which we do while onboarding any particular vendor for any application that we think of in the entire Royal Canin ecosystem. So that is how I believe the questions that has been thrown across while we were onboarding Botree for the distribution management system might have looked like a little bit more engaging and more ahead of its time. But that is something, the purely prerequisites that we have. And I'm glad to say that Botree has been able to meet all those requirements which we had 3 years back, maybe, probably. And even today, we are very hopeful with the kind of the partnership that we have. We keep on revisiting the kind of applications that we have today. We do periodical threat and vulnerability assessments, and there are certain corrective actions and preventive actions being taken on a regular basis to safeguard our applications in the Royal Canin ecosystem. And this is not at Royal Canin, this is at Mars Inc. level, to be honest. So all the processes and the policies that has been laid out at the Mars Inc. level, and that basically ripples down at the Royal Canin unit as well.
Right. So, I'm able to relate to that, right? When you said that is what the partnership is about, right? So, each partner challenging the other, right? Pushing and growing along with each other, right? Because we also do, yearly testing for specific security threats, and we have a set of security certifications and things that we have. And every year we are trying to up the bar, move up and get more certificates, right? So we also stay in touch with your expectations. All right, so thinking ahead, right, what is the next 5 years, 10 years, what is the next set of technology that is going to define how the pet care industry is consumed by the end users, right, or as pet parents, as you call them? What is going to happen next? What are your thoughts on that?
Today, if you see the Gen Zs and the millennials, they are extremely tech savvy, right? And to keep the pace with them, right, Royal Canin also needs to be equally digitally present. And for that, we have come up with our own e-commerce platforms. In the coming days, you will find that definitely this cost per feed tool that I've spoken about, right, that is getting a lot of traction. In fact, if I look ahead, right, down the line, 3 years or 5 years from now, teleconsultation with the vets, right, a 24/7 kind of a consultation with the vets is definitely going to be quite prevalent in the market. So we are standing at a position where we are thinking ahead of our time. Down the line, 5 years after, how can we basically be the leader in this particular category? And because of that, we are also roping in certain concepts, right, where we would also like to drive certain efficiencies, bring in some quick solutioning, right, in terms of having a seamless integration between the distribution management system, the Botree DMS, and the vet fraternity, right? That how can we actually bring in a kind of a synergy between these two fraternities, so that we kind of give a kind of a aha moment to my consumers at the end of the day. So these are some of the technical advancements that I'm seeing. Apart from that, there are obviously multi-cloud concepts that we are trying to bring in, which would increase the efficiencies that we are currently running at. It increases the agility and definitely cost effective as well. Along with that multi-cloud, I can talk about a container as a service, because we have heard a lot in past, we have struggled a lot in past of having an application both on-prem, on the cloud, and a mixture of both. But now with this, the container as a service being getting more and more prevalent in the industry, so I think we should be leveraging more on the cloud posture.
Okay, that's interesting, right? But we talk about AI, we talk about all these upcoming technologies, right? And it would be incomplete without closing with cyber security as well, right? We do all these things, but when cyber security becomes a much bigger piece of the pie, when we try to do something innovative, bring in new concepts, the threat of cyber security keeps increasing. So, what is your view on that, and how does Royal Canin India look at?
So today, Murthy, the primary challenge that we face in this category is the risk of my data getting safeguarded from the external threats, right? So we deal with lots and lots of first-party data, right, which includes my consumers' personal data, their pets' data as well, right? And being the leader in this particular category, we are the torchbearer for bringing in the utmost level of security around this particular data that we have today. So what we have done is that within Royal Canin and within Mars Inc., right, we have a very robust security management team, the network data security management, the network security management, and infra security management team, who does a stupendous work, right, day in, day out, by constantly monitoring our applications that are being hosted across the clouds that we have. We have a very strong threat and vulnerability assessments that we do constantly on our applications, and whenever a certain threat or a vulnerability is being assessed, so there is an utmost importance being given, right, to mitigate or contingent that particular risk that we have. Apart from that, there are certain constant trainings that we do with all our associates on the security hygiene as well. So these are some of the measures that we take internally to safeguard our data, to safeguard our consumers' data. And I can boast proudly that today we are absolutely watertight in terms of the cybersecurity measures that we have taken so far. In addition to this, when we onboard a particular agency or a vendor, right, or partner, as I prefer calling them, we have a very stringent data privacy impact assessment being done with them, right? So we check their security posture as well, right? How secure they are, what are the different compliances, because these are absolute paramount, right, to be ahead in this particular league that we are currently into. We do check their security posture, their capability of flexing all their muscles to safeguard our data, right, at the end of the day. So these are some of the measures that Royal Canin and Mars globally has been taking so far. Enterprise architecture is one of the very critical and very well reclaimed assessment that we do for every single application or a project that is going live within Royal Canin India. It goes through a series of check gates, whether it is a feasibility gate, whether it is a logical gate. We do those kind of assessments, which basically gives us an additional layer of confidence of having a strengthened partnership with our partners.
Right. I remember us going through all these, right? So, it looks so long ago. All right. So when you look at the partner, looking at partners, right? You just spoke about security assessment. Apart from that, are there any other items that you look at while assessing partners and selecting a partner? And how does Botree Software meet that?
We do have very critical checks that we need to meet on each and every ongoing projects, right? Even when we conceive a particular project, we have a certain critical checks being laid out to our partners, right? And only when they meet those prerequisites, right, then only we take the discussion forward. Now, one of them being this data privacy impact assessment. We basically try to find out in this assessment that how flexible the organization is, right, in terms of combating any sort of external threats, any sort of cyber attacks, or any kind of the anticipated risks that are there associated with my data. Secondly, whenever we are indulging into any project, right? Any SaaS application. As a matter of fact, the Botree DMS application, right? When we are hosting it on the cloud, so you might have remembered this, that we were very much particular about a point that this application needs to be a multi-tiered architecture, right? And that is one of the prerequisites that we have. And this multi-tiered architecture needs to be mandatorily behind a next-gen firewall. So these are some of the critical measures that we ensure to safeguard our data. And apart from that, we have a very strengthened encryption and the decryption policies, right? So we try to find out from our partners whether do they have those kind of flex to have a very stringent encryption and decryption methodology within their in-house skills that they have, so that it gives us an extra confident to carry on with the partnership in future as well. And I'm glad to call it out that Botree has been able to meet all of these prerequisites that we had. And I'm really looking forward for a very fruitful, the journey along with Botree in future as well.
And with the adoption of technology, right, specifically Botree DMS and SFA, right, how has it helped in running day-to-day business, right? Because as the provider of the technology, right, you definitely have feedback from the business, and you have a good view of if the technology is really doing what it's supposed to do, right, and is it doing it well enough, right? What are your thoughts on that?
About how exactly the business was back in 2021, right, or even in early 2022, because when we didn't have this Botree DMS suite with us, especially the DMS and SFA. So we are a very distributor heavy business, right? We have 100 plus distributors, and managing the data of the distributors, managing the data of the stock movement, the unbilled outlet were getting extremely difficult for us. Manual interventions were there, and those manual interventions were error prone. So we felt that the need of the hour was to have a distributor management system, and that is when exactly Botree was roped in, right? After all the assessments and the enterprise level, architectural level go ahead that we got, that we onboarded Botree, and Botree DMS had actually strengthened the operations. It had actually made us much more agile and have actually freed a lot of time, which we were erstwhile spending on the day-to-day BAU activities. Now that the time that we can spend more on our strategic decision makings. So basically Botree Software, if you see, had improved our operational efficiency and at the same time had made the overall BAU operations error free.
Great. Okay. We are also very excited and looking forward to collaborate with you on any new upcoming opportunities, right? Maybe integration with the new platforms that you were talking about, or how do we enable you to solve these next gen problems, and again staying ahead of the curve when the market changes, right? We are constantly looking for things to do and explore along with Royal Canin India.
So I'm really glad to know that the Botree team is very keen to continue with this partnership. Yes, we do have certain plans ahead of us. As I mentioned, that we do have an e-commerce platform where we are trying to blend in our the veterinary fraternity that we have, and we are also looking for some kind of a programmatic interface, right, through certain APIs, obviously, where we can derive some quick solutions, right, which would other way cater my vet fraternity as well. So that is the kind of the next gen, I would say, scalability that I'm looking for. Also, we have Navision as one of our ERP system, right? We always wanted to integrate the distributor management system with our Navision. It didn't happen so far, but we will definitely look into the feasibility of integrating Navision, because then my entire data push and pull right into my ERP system becomes seamless. So these are the two definitely the next gen changes that are there on my cards. We will see how exactly we can build on top of this.
Absolutely. For the first one, we'll have to develop the system, we'll have to build those APIs. But for the second, we have all the APIs in a box, they're ready to go, right? Plus, we are also adding APIs regularly. So, the set of APIs I had in 2023 or 2, right? I have now more than that now, right? So, integrating with Navision is going to be much easier. And whenever you want to kickstart that, we can definitely go ahead.
Sure. But I'm really glad that the Botree is evolving, and both of us are actually growing with time, right? And that's really a very positive sign that we have today. So I'm really glad on that.
Uh, how would you describe the relationship working with Botree, the team that works with you from day in day out, right? How do you rate the team? What is your feedback on us?
I'll be absolutely honest that it has been really instrumental, working with Botree, because the way the Botree management team, the Botree leadership team, or even the tech team, right, blends with our Royal Canin associates, right. I never felt that it is a kind of a client and a partner relationship, right. It always felt like a single one team having a common goal in this particular league. So that's really great, and I'm really happy to see that kind of relationship strengthening the way forward that we have. I want you guys to continue doing the same thing. I don't want any kind of changes in that communication, in that kind of the unification that is currently there, right? Apart from that, the only thing is that, as my other colleagues might have already spoken about, that there is a ticketing system which we are definitely leveraging on a day-to-day basis, and that is actually showing some results to us. We would definitely like to have more and more such agility being brought into. If we can have some kind of customer support agents who can be definitely reachable, dedicated relationship managers who can be reached in terms of any kind of queries, any kind of concerns that comes up, that would be great on Botree's behalf. But so far so good, that we have absolutely no complaints as of now.
Thanks, Aritra. That really gives me the confidence to ask you the next question. What would you rate Botree services, right? Including, we working with you during the deployment phase, fitment phase, and now in the support phase, right? In a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what would be your ratings?
Okay, so that's a very tricky question, to be honest, Murthy. So I would rate 9.
Sure, thanks a lot. So, thanks for taking the time and spending it with us. We have always looked up to Royal Canin with a very special lens, right? Because you have asked us some questions that most we have not seen in many places. You have made us do things that we have not done in several places, and like I said, you've always been ahead of the curve. So, it is also a very good partnership working with you and the Royal Canin India, right? So, we look forward a lot to continue that journey. And thanks again for everything. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. It was a nice conversation, and wishing you all the best, Murthy. Thank you.
Cheers. You too. Yeah.